Digital literacy must include digital restraint.
Hey, tell me more.
Welcome back to Tell Me More with me, CJ Quartlbaum. Tell Me More exists to help bridge the gap in our intergenerational workplace dynamics and build better leaders. Today, I want to talk to you a little bit about Gen Z, this group that I have managed, led, taught, and mentored over the last decade. This is a group of people who are used to constant connection. They are the digital natives. But what happens when that constant connection becomes a cage? Gen Z was the first generation to grow up online. These are the people who don't know life before Google. They're just as old as Google. So when I make jokes about an Encyclopedia Britannica, they have no idea what I'm talking about. They formed their identities, many of them, online in middle school with the advent of social media. A lot of them, as toddlers and in daycare, were given iPads. None of us knew exactly what was going to happen when we started to hand these devices over to them. We didn't understand the neurological, the physical, and the emotional shifts that would take place. So when Gen Z says that they are digital natives, it's true. This is the only world they have ever known. And in order for them to survive, they're going to have to figure out how to step back and unplug. The ability to unplug is going to be a huge factor in Gen Z's success. Think about it. If you are constantly used to being online and you don't know how to not be without your device, the ability to step away is going to be huge because life is lived in the real world. You show up to work in the real world. You show up to school in the real world. You show up, ideally, in your relationships in the real world. In a world that is screaming for their attention with the constant pinging, the constant news stories, the real power move, it's the ability to opt out, even if it's just temporarily. Something like lessening the amount of notifications you get. Every app doesn't need to notify you for every little thing. You don't need to run when you hear the ping as though it is a Pavlovian experiment. Success for Gen Z goes beyond tech fluency. Like, they have that. Tech fluency, like that's their thing. I was playing around with Canva trying to make a thumbnail for this video, and my 7-year-old looks at me and she goes, "Oh, is that Canva? Dad, you just need to do this, 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 and this." I spent 20 minutes on that. And I know it's not a great thumbnail. If you want to help work on my thumbnails, please hit me in the comments. For them, success is also going to come in developing tech boundaries. Digital literacy must include digital restraint. I've heard stories about Gen Z entering the corporate world, struggling to unplug. They do this thing where they have their computer set up in front of them, but they also have their iPad or their phone also running at the same time. I've seen a lot of content creators who will do talking head videos like this, but underneath the video will be like Fortnite or something, playing some gameplay going in the background, because for Gen Z, it is incredibly hard to focus on a singular task. I'm watching students struggle to form thoughts that are not AI generated. We see 3-year-olds who can seamlessly, effortlessly operate an iPad because it was designed that way. And I'm watching in classrooms college students who keep their faces buried behind their computers, not making eye contact at all. This is the struggle for them. They would rather record the moments than be in them. The oversaturation of technology in their lives at such an early age has had beyond detrimental effects. For Gen Z, ditching the devices will be their salvation. The neurological, emotional, and social effects have been palpable. Gen Z is facing record levels of anxiety, sleep disruption, and overstimulation, and all the downstream effects thereof. Our brains were not wired for the nonstop connection, for the nonstop notifications. They weren't wired to follow thousands of people or doom scrolling over breakfast. Most people, and this isn't just Gen Z. I know I make these videos and I focus on Gen Z, but this is true of almost every other generation at this point as well, where the first thing we do is reach for our phones. Most of us cannot go an hour or a day or a minute without our devices attached to us. And this is the struggle. Our brains weren't built for this. They weren't built for us to keep up with every single person we went to middle school with. They weren't built for us to hear every bit of news in real time as it's happening around the world. The oversaturation of information, the influx is hurting us. This mental load is entirely unsustainable. We can't keep this up. And we're seeing it, right? It's eroding our ability to focus, to self regulate. Gen Z is the most anxious, most depressed, most lonely generation we have on record because we're not built for this. And I know you might be thinking right now, oh, CJ, I'm built different. No, you're not. You're not. And that is okay. Collectively, we need to figure out what are we going to do to keep the technology from overrunning every single aspect of our lives, because this is not good, family. Most of us think we're fine. When I have these conversations, people are always like, oh, my digital use isn't that bad. The truth is, we all think we're stronger than we actually are. We all think we're better than we are. We like to believe the best about ourselves. I understand. I am the same way. But I want us to take a step back. When's the last time we went an entire day without our phones? Like, truly consider that. The last time you took an extended, intentional period away from your phone, no content, no internet, no connection, to just be. Most of us don't know because they become second brains for us. They become an attachment. They are a core part of who we are. And now for some of us, like me, right, I can admit this, we use our phones for work. So it's hard to go, well, I'm just gonna take a full 24-hour period away from my phone. But when's the last time you were waiting in line? Maybe at the grocery store or the local pharmacy or something, and you didn't pick up your phone? When's the last time a moment of boredom hit, a lull in the conversation, and you didn't instinctively reach for your phone to check what? In all of life, it is the illusion of control that is dangerous. We delude ourselves into thinking we are in a place that we aren't actually in. We overestimate our abilities and we underestimate the impact of these devices on us. But the science is clear. The oversaturation of technology, the constant connection, all of it has rewired our brains. It has changed who we are. So it's time to take a break. And when we take this break, we're gonna see three very real, tangible benefits. One is neuroplasticity. Our brains are not stuck. They can still fire new neurons, they can still grow, but they become stuck when we don't use them. So the idea of stepping away from the devices will help strengthen our focus, increase our attention span, and it will increase our creativity. What do they say? Boredom is the, what is it like? Boredom is the mother of necessity, or boredom is the mother of invention, something like that. It's when you've got nothing else to do, nothing else to occupy your time, the cheap dopamine hit from scrolling, that you start to get creative. You start to think of things again. Your brain starts firing in a different way. So we get increased neuroplasticity, but what we also get is real life joy. It is hard to appreciate the trees and appreciate the sound of the birds, to appreciate life if you're never actually participating in it. Dr. Jonathan Haidt, in his class at NYU, one of the assignments that he has them do, this class on human flourishing, is he'll have them go for really long walks without their devices, and they have to write down what they see and what they experience, what they notice. And so many of his students will come back and say, I walk this same route every day, and I never noticed that tree, and I never noticed that statue, and I never noticed that insert thing here. When we take the time to get offline and step into the real world and see the world around us, we realize how much beauty is there. It's the old cliche, right? Stop and smell the roses. And that third benefit that we get is stronger relationships. See, relationships are formed and birthed and they're built in person. You can have an online relationship for sure. I mean, if you've ever seen the show The Never Ever Mets, you know that that is a thing. But relationships are strengthened in person. It is through eye contact, through physical touch, through reading the room, reading the other person's reactions, seeing the design and makeup of their face in the moment, in real life. There's a study that came out of Sweden that I referenced a couple of months ago, but couples find that their relationships are stronger when they communicate in person as opposed to via text. Friendships are deeper when we communicate in person rather than via text. These are the benefits of getting offline and stepping into the real world. Here's the thing, I get it. None of us are just gonna flip the switch. I'm far too attached to my phone, if I'm really honest with you. So one of the things that I do is I just let my phone die. My phone is almost always somewhere around the area of like 25, 30%. And I just let it die. And when it dies, then I'll go and I'll throw it on the charger and I'll get it up to like 20, 25%, and I'll just use it from there. This is, I don't know if it's good, but this is kind of my way of introducing some sort of self-control to this. And on Saturdays, when I can, once my phone dies, it dies. And I'm not charging it on Friday night to come into Saturday with 100%. Wherever it is on Friday night to wherever it gets on Saturday, when it dies, it dies. And I just live without my phone until Sunday morning. I do my best. I don't always do this perfectly. You know, sometimes I've got family events, I've got things going on, or I need to navigate because I don't know how to get anywhere anymore because I'm so reliant on GPS. But other things we can do. 1 hour a day, 1 day a week, 1 week a year. That's really the goal for me. 1 hour a day, device free. 1 day a week, a full 24 hours. And I know some of us feel like, well, what happens if X happens? What happens if this happens? What if I'm needed? The world will not end because you are not on your phone. And if there is truly an emergency or something, people will get to you. And then 1 week a year. 1 week a year is ambitious. It's really hard. Very few of us, I think, truly have the ability to unplug from our devices for a full week, just based on jobs and life and kids and all those things. But if you can, maybe go for 3 days. These are lofty and ambitious goals, and maybe you can't start there. So maybe we start with tech-free zones in our home. We say at the kitchen, at the dinner table, and this doesn't matter if you are single, married, have kids, don't have kids. You say, I'm going to eat dinner wherever it is that I eat dinner without my phone. I'm going to charge my phone in another room. Because we live in the age of streaming and TV never ends, there's so much good TV out there right now. Actually, drop in the comments below because I'm in a bit of a show hole. What are you watching right now? What should I pick up? Give me one. I'm gonna pick one show to binge, and I'm gonna trust whatever it is you guys put in the comments. But what if you say, hey, no TV in the bedroom? Because TV these days, it's often streaming or we're watching on our iPads in bed. What if we say to ourselves, not here? So no devices at the dinner table, no TVs in the bedroom. These are small ways that we can start to unplug. And maybe some slow mornings. What if we create tech-free mornings? Where we say to ourselves, I'm not going to check my device first thing in the morning. I'm going to read, I'm going to stretch, I'm going to journal, I'm going to walk before I get to the device. I want you to hear me. This is not anti-technology. I love technology. Okay, you see the Mac behind me. I've got big lights in front of me. I have a really nice camera that I'm looking into right now, a MacBook in front of me. This is pro agency. This is about us not being overrun and ruled by the little computers in our pockets. So give this a try for a week and let me know how this works out for you. But maybe you're thinking, CJ, I hear you, but I've got this under control. I'm good with my devices. So what? I scroll 20 out of 24 hours in a day. And who cares that I struggle to make eye contact and deal with relationships in real life? I like the way I'm living. I love the endless stream of content, the scrolling and looking at nuggets of nothing, the cheap dopamine hits. To you, I say fine. I mean, what do I know? I'm just some guy from Brooklyn.